Hey, welcome to the Popcorn Perspective. It's AK with another solar video talking about House of the Dragons, Game of Thrones. Season 2 of House of the Dragon comes out in June. The two trailers were just released. What do you guys think of it? Season 1 ends with the king dying and two parties strive for the throne. Very similar to how Game of Thrones ends, the Song of Ice and Fire. I'm not sure about you guys, but I am a major fan of the Song of Ice and Fire, Westeros, George R. Martin's books and writing style. I love the way he writes his characters. I love the way he writes the politics. He is a very politically driven guy and a very, very smart author. Uh, Very entertaining to watch how they decide to bring forth his writing. Now, House of the Dragon is taken based roughly off of the textbook that George R. R. Martin wrote, Fire and Blood. It's a Targaryen history book that basically tells the history of Targaryens from day one till it is going to end up catching up to Robert's Rebellion and the second part of the book, whenever that comes out. But basically, what I thoroughly enjoyed with season one of House of the Dragons is just how well acted, well designed, and I think it has easily some of the best use of the budget of any Game of Thrones Westerosi based TV show. They use their money to amplify the world. This is a world in peace. This is Westeros in peace. We've never seen Westeros like this. We've never seen King's Landing like this. King's Landing has now had a king, King Viserys, for X amount of years, and he's a lamed up king. He really hasn't done much as a king, though he's kept status quo as status quo. And the city and the country is prospering. There's wealth. The royals are doing royal things, having tourneys, having hunts, having feast, and you see all of that displayed. The money, the wealth, the ego that these rich handed the kings, these princesses and prince and the kings and these concubines and these the rogue princes and the uh it's great to see and I love it, and the acting is fantastic. You do have easily a standout role, Matt Smith playing Daemon Targaryen. You have Paddy Considine playing the Elden King, Viserys. Emma Darcy and Millie Alcock both takes on the role of Queen Rhaenyra. Millie plays the younger, Emma Darcy plays the older. Same as Olivia Cook and Emily Carey. They both play respectively the older and younger Alicent, Queen Alicent, who is also Princess Rhaenyra's King Viserys' older daughter's best friend. When his wife dies, the king's queen dies. He ends up marrying. He marries Alicent Hightower, his daughter's best friend. The Hightowers also thrive the throne via their dad, who is the hand of the king. So you already see how the hand of the king, the Hightower, is kind of playing their hand. Uh, he convinces his daughter to woo the king after the king loses his wife, and from there he kind of positions himself into taking over the throne via the Hightower uprising, and uh, this is considered the team green side of things. The high towers are the greens, and Princess Rhaenyra and her husband Matt Smith's character, Prince Daemon Targaryen, who is also her uncle and Paddy Considine's King Viserys' brother. Incest Targaryens at this point, we just gotta go with it. So his eldest daughter marries his younger brother, and they have their own family, have their own kids. Princess Rhaenyra is not. She has a lot of concubines throughout her life, and a lot of kids. Not all identified or all related to Matt Smith. And the same with Matt Smith. Matt Smith was also married, and he had his own kids in his own family through the Valerians, Corlys Valerian's family line. So there's a lot of families, a lot of kids, and a lot of people all think they deserve the throne. So season one ends with the king unfortunate death. And the High Towers immediately takes control. Now Princess Rhaenyra is nowhere to be found in King's Landing as she and Matt Smith lives on Dragonstone, which is far-ish away from King's Landing, close enough for them to make uh, fairly regular visits, but far enough where they can hold secrets for a couple of days before the secrets of the throne leaks out to the public, and they had to announce the death of the king. So that's how everything plays out. The High Towers immediately at the end of season one takes control of the kingdom, takes control of King's Landing, and tries their best to halt any news leaving the throne as they make their amends. Doing so, they send I apologize. Queen Alicent sends her and her oldest son. She declares her older son to be the king of Westeros. So now he is the High Towers king. He's not necessarily the true king. He was not the legitimate heir. That is still Princess Rhaenyra. So she and her dad kind of throws her son, Prince Aegon II, to be the sixth king of Westeros, the firstborn son of King Viserys and Queen Alicent, half brother to Princess Rhaenyra. And this is where shit kind of takes off. All season one was set up and build up and setting the stones for season two, the war, to begin. So newly sat King Aegon II sends his younger brother Prince Aemon, also known as Aemon One Eye. He lost his eye as a child during a brawl between all the families, which was a pretty intense scene to watch. But anyways, Aemon, who's a bloodthirsty, crazy maniac ever since he lost his eye, he's aggressive, he's fearsome, and he's crazy. And he also rides the oldest living dragon, Vagar, if I'm not mistaken the name. Uh, so you already know that this guy is quite the person. Um, but he is sent to the Baratheon stronghold. He goes to Storm's End to meet with the Baratheons and offer his hand in marriage to the Baratheons' daughter's hand, aligning the Greens and the Baratheons together. At the same time, the Blacks are now finding out. Queen Rhaenyra is now finding out, and she sends her two oldest sons as envoys to two different houses. One goes to the Eyrie, if I'm not mistaken, House Aaron, and the other goes to the Baratheons. We know House Aaron from Game of Thrones. Like the little man fry, mom. You know the little kid who kept sucking his mom milk even at the age of 10. That weird crazy family. Well, she sends one of her sons there, and she sends another one of her sons to the Baratheons, to Storm's End as well, to convince them. Lucerys Targaryen flies his dragon to Storm's End by himself to be a single envoy to convince the Baratheons that, hey, we're the true power, we're the true heir to the throne. My mom is the true queen. As he arrives, he sees Vagar, the dragon, just chilling out in the coastline of Storm's End, which is a very dangerous area. A storm is raging in at the time that Luke arrives. It's a quite spectacle. Storm the waves are crashing into the island. You have the two parties basically um already having discussion. You have the Greens already talking to the Baratheons, and now the Blacks arrive late because the Blacks were surprised. They did not know about the king's death until late. Here, Luke unfortunately fails to convince the Baratheons on their side, and the Baratheon agrees upon the Greens and partners with the Greens, but says, "Hey, we want no bloodshed here. We want both of you guys to go. We don't want to start the war begin on our doorsteps." As I said originally, Aemon is quite crazy. Aemon offers himself up to convince the Baratheons to join houses. He said, "Hey, I will marry your daughter. Let's join our houses." And the Baratheons are like, "Hell yeah, let's do it. Let's join the noble houses. Let's put our name into the field." And as Luke leaves, Storm ends. Right behind uh, is Aemon. Both on their dragons. The biggest dragon, the oldest dragon, Vagar, chases down Luke in the storm. Aemon, being the crazy guy he is, decides to just scare Luke, just push Luke, just threaten Luke, show Luke who the real powerhouse is, the Greens. So he comes right next to Luke's dragon. Aemon pulls up right next to him, mocks him, attacks him, loses control of his dragon, Vagar, and Vagar kills the dragon, kills Luke's dragon, killing Luke, both of them crashing into the water as Luke looks on in horror. I mean, not Luke, I apologize. Aemon looks on in horror. Aemon is a dick. He was never meant to, he did not want to kill Luke because Luke is his cousin. He didn't want to kill his cousin. He wanted to threaten and scare the blacks off of making any further alliance or attempting to make any further alliance. He just wanted to threaten them, show them who the real balls is in the house, who the real threat is. And he sees there in horror as Luke's dragon dies. And that's basically where House of the Dragon Season 1 ends. The war has begun. The Greens struck first. And Queen Rhaenyra's son is dead by the hands of her once best friend, her now stepmother's youngest son. Season 2, you could tell by the marketing, has already pitched the two parties against each other. They just released two trailers, Team Black and Team Green. Which side do you stand by? The 15-year-old forced into a marriage ends up misinterpreting her late husband's last words and last wishes to make her son the king, who had been brainwashed by her dad this whole time and been manipulative by the people she surrounds herself with? Or is it Queen Rhaenyra, the king's eldest daughter, the Blacks? She married her father. I apologize. She married her dad's uncle. Apologize. She married her dad's brother, her uncle, Matt Smith, the Rogue Prince, um, Damon, and we just kind of see it at that now. Whose side do you represent? The one who has multiple bastards running along as legitimate heirs, the one who is technically the legitimate heir to the throne by her dad's side, though has no real political uh, push. She has never really been the biggest political player versus the Greens, who are the literal definition of snakes in politics. Obviously, the show kind of pushes you in a way where they want you to root for the blacks, while the books, surprisingly enough, is kind of on the side of the greens. Now, take this into whatever consideration you wish. The books was written in the perspective of a maester writing a historical story of the Targaryens. So there's biases involved. And the show is taking their own things into consideration, their own biases involved. And I love the way the show is doing it. The show season one was clearly a Team Black show. And the way the marketing of season two is Team Black versus Team Green, I think they're going to be a little more ambiguous on who the true heroes of the story is. Because at the end of the day, our Targaryen civil war with dragons involved, forcing people to do their bidding, soldiers and warriors fighting against dragons. Who is truly the winner? Well, for those who have not read the books and coming in this blind, we shall find out in June. For those who knows what they know, let's see how much we really do know. Because we know from season one, the things that are written in the books may not be the way the showrunners of the show anticipates or are believing things to be, if that makes sense. The trailers are out. Both trailers are freaking fantastic. Season 2 of House of the Dragon. I think that drops on June 13th, but let me double check here for you guys. It is on the Dragon Season 2 comes out June 16th. What did you guys think about the two trailers? The Team Black or Team Green trailer? I'm super hyped. I'm not gonna give this a popcorn rating because we've only seen clips. It's a minute and a half long trailer, but I'm hyped. I'll catch you guys at the next video. I'm still working on the Big Bad Batch video and the Star Wars video that I mentioned in my previous one. I'll catch you guys on the flip. This is AK signing off. Love you guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thank y'all.